Hello, Happy New Year. I'm just so excited to be with you today. You might be wondering why I'm having a video and talking through you through a camera. Well, I just got back from Ireland and got some time to reflect on the Shire and see the castles and go to Northern Ireland and see the history there. And I said, you know what? I really want to do a better job of keeping in touch. So whether you've run into me over the past few years and we've had a meaningful conversation, you've come to one of our events like our Bastille Day Wine Tasting or our African Investor and Executive event, this is my effort to keep you in touch. And the topic of today's video is our plans for 2019 and how you can get involved. So let's go. Before we start to get into our plans for 2019, I wanted to remind you of Duplessis Foundation's mission and what I'm focused on day to day. Duplessis Foundation exists to create an environment for artists and entrepreneurs to do meaningful work. The way that we do that is by helping them master their sales process. Specifically, we focus on helping women, immigrants, and minority entrepreneurs to create a repeatable and scalable sales process. So you might be wondering, okay, cool, you want to help women, immigrant, and minority entrepreneurs with their sales. Well, what does that actually look like? Well, let me tell you a story. I met Christina Fagan a few years back. She's really into knitting. That's just her thing. She started a knitting club and she felt like there was something there. There was a business. And she calls it, pardon my French, shit that I knit. And she said, hey, Derek, I want to turn this into a thing. How do I do that? So we worked with her, we helped her, starting out that August. By October, she was able to generate $26,000 in pre-sales. Now that business is doing close to $10,000 a month. But more importantly, when Christina knew she had to scale her business, she went down to Lima, Peru, where she found a co-op of master knitters, and those are the folks that are knitting her hats. And what's cool about that is that those women now can take care of themselves. They can get out of crazy relationships where they're dependent on men for their income, and their children now have an opportunity at upward mobility. I'm just so excited. That's my drug. And we want to create more and more of those kinds of women, immigrant, minority entrepreneurs throughout the United States and throughout the world. And by helping them with their sales process, we're able to do that, create that kind of impact. Let's start talking about our plans for 2019. I like to keep things super simple. So the way I look at 2019 is by thinking of one number. That number is 100. 100 people engaged and invested in Duplessis Foundation's mission in 2019. That's our goal. It's as simple as that. And allow me to break that down for you. What we do is we take 100 and we break it down into two big chunks, 64 and 36. Let's start with the 64 first. All right, let's start with the 64. The 64 people we want to help are women, immigrant, and minority entrepreneurs who need sales coaching. And what we do for them is three things. We make sure that they're actually understanding what they're selling and communicating that to their customers and partners. The second thing we do is make sure that they're targeting the right customers and the right partners. The third thing that we do is make sure that they have a sales process that's repeatable and scalable. That means they'll be able to teach it to somebody else. Now, how can you help us coach these entrepreneurs? So, there's three ways. One, you can introduce us to women, immigrant, minority entrepreneurs who could use some help with their sales. Simple. The second thing you could do is introduce us to communities of entrepreneurs. So if you know any meetup groups or any kind of groups for women, immigrant, minority entrepreneurs, we'd love to do a workshop with them. Help them with their sales process, give them concrete skills and concrete things where they walk away and their sales process is actually improved. And it's free. The third thing that we do, and where you can help us, is get on the phone with an entrepreneur and help them with their sales pitch. Just a few minutes, and you can help them really understand what resonates with their potential customers and partners, where they're failing to really click with you, and just help them on their way to figuring out what a great sales call looks like. So it's super practical, and it's something you can do just in a few minutes. So those are 3 ways you can help us in our mission to get 64 entrepreneurs to improve their sales process. Our goal is to have 36 people who are engaged around our 3 major initiatives. Our goal this year is to have 36 folks really engaged in our 3 major initiatives. Our Secret Supper series, our Bastille Day Wine Tasting, and our online summit. So what's a Secret Supper? Well, a Secret Supper is a dinner, and what we do at that dinner is introduce awesome people to each other. They're meeting for the very first time, so the guest list is secret, the location is secret, and the menu is secret. And what we do is we want to introduce people with similar backgrounds that would never ever meet unless we connected them. There's been a lot of women that have been instrumental in my life, and they opened a lot of doors by introducing me to places like the Four Seasons and all these different meetings that I felt like I had no business being at, but I learned so much. So this is my way of giving back. And I'll tell you a very short story about the impact of the Secret Suppers. Just a few years back, not too long ago, we had a supper and we introduced 2 people, my friend Katie and Diane Hessen. And Katie's the type of woman who's just trying to find her way. She paused her master's in public health and started helping her brother with a startup. Eventually, she headed up their marketing efforts. I said, Katie, you're gonna be somebody. You're really gonna make things happen. She didn't believe me, so I knew that she needed to talk to somebody else to really see what she was capable of. So I arranged that supper, and I really wanted her and Diane Hessen to connect. So they met at the supper, and I made sure that they connected afterwards. It took 4 months to get Diane to attend that supper, and 3 months after the supper for Katie and Diane to meet up. Super busy woman. And Katie met with Diane, and she said, I've been trying to meet with this investor for 6 months. Do you have any leads? Diane pulls out her cell phone. She types in the number, sends a message to this investor, and this investor says, no problem. And a meeting was set right then and there in less than 2 minutes. Katie and her team meet the investor, and the investor says, hey, I'm not really interested in your startup, but I might be interested in investing, and there's only one way I can do that. And that's if Katie becomes the CEO of this company. That's in front of the actual CEO of the company on that team. And so that team met, and about a week later, Katie became the CEO. So she went from volunteer, helping out her brother, to the CEO of this startup. That startup ultimately failed, but Katie knew that a career in tech is where she wanted to be. And now Katie is part of a thriving team that just finished a huge round of funding, and she's on her way. And she finished her master's in public health too. The Secret Suppers are an opportunity to create those kind of connections and that kind of impact. And so if you're interested, I would love your help. Our second initiative is our Bastille Day Wine Tasting. It's really an amazing event. We've been doing it for the last 6-7 years, and it's grown every single year. Last year we had 150 people attend thanks to our friends at Nixon Peabody, and we had wine flowing all over the place, French food, and French whiskey, which was a huge hit. We invite folks from all over the international business community. The Swiss, the Swedish, the French, the British, Chambers of Commerce were all there. And we also invite our friends from NAP, which is the National Association of Asian American Professionals, and ALPHA, which represents Latin American professionals. We really want to bring the international community together on in July and educate them about French wine and really make it fun. We bring in some sommeliers, some wine experts, and they do a blind tasting. We have them taste some wine and they actually try to guess what region of France that wine is from. The cool thing was last year, we only had one guess that was right from the wine experts, and 3 people had 2 wines that they identified from the audience. So it's really unpredictable, fun, and a one-of-a-kind of experience that we want more and more people from Boston's business community to attend. This is our big fundraiser and our big fundraiser, so it's a huge, really important event for us. And there's a few ways that you can help us practically. So if you want to help the day of the event in July 10th this year, we would love your help. If you want to join our committee and help bring some awesome people to our event, we would love to have you join our committee. It's $100 a head, so it's not a ridiculous cost, and it's for a great cause. We raise money so that we can actually create opportunities for our women, immigrant, and minority entrepreneurs to have access to office space for 3 months. Not having that worry, getting out of their house, meeting other entrepreneurs. We want to create that opportunity for them, and you could help us do that with our Bastille Day event. Now, the third way, obviously, is if you know any vendors that have French food or any other French items that would like to participate in the event, we would love those kind of connections. The third initiative is in October. It's our online Founders Summit. Last year, it was the beginning of the work that we're doing with entrepreneurs working on their sales. We actually started with marketing, and we actually got feedback from people that they want help with their sales. The way that the conference works is that we bring in entrepreneurs who are running businesses over $1 million in revenue, and they share their insights. And then we also have live case studies where those entrepreneurs virtually sit down with an entrepreneur and break down their business in such a way that they can help them live. And we've been able to have people from all over the world participate. And last year we had 200 people register and 100 people attend. And what we want to do this year is have 10x those numbers. 2,000 people register and have at least 1,000 people attend. And our focus this year is North America and South America. So how can you help? We want connections to communities of entrepreneurs in North America, in South America, that are looking for help with sales. And we will do monthly workshops with those communities, and we'll actually let them know about our conference in October. If you know women, immigrant, minority entrepreneurs that are running $1 million businesses, we would love connections to them, especially if they're great at explaining how they go about their sales process and making it scalable and repeatable. Now, if you do not know entrepreneurs who are women, immigrant, minorities, but they happen to be awesome at teaching folks what they do and how to understand their sales process, we would love connections with them too. because the idea is to teach folks sales. So whoever has that information, we want to spread it and we want to share it with our community. And lastly, we want your help underwriting this conference. We typically offer the conference for free, and then we ask people, hey, if you want recordings of the sessions and you want other materials, then we make sure that people can purchase that later. And so that means we have to underwrite the whole conference ourselves. So love your assistance, making sure that we can cover our costs for this conference. This is our way of growing our community and making sure that we do everything we can as a nonprofit to share the knowledge that we have with as many people as possible so we can have a greater impact and fulfill our mission of helping artists and entrepreneurs do meaningful work. So we've come to the end of our very first monthly update video, and hopefully you've learned a lot about what we're up to and you've found somewhere where you can be involved in our mission. If you don't have the time to participate in our coaching or with our 3 major initiatives, the Secret Suppers, the Bastille Day event, or in our online summit, no problem. There's one more way you can practically help us, and that's either through a monthly donation or a one-time donation. We make it super easy for you. There's a link that you could click so that you can contribute. And it's really important for us to be able to offer our services to the entrepreneurs for relatively low price. And it's really important for them because most of them are bootstrapped, all of them, excuse me, are bootstrapped. They're at the beginning of their entrepreneurial journey, so they typically don't have a lot of income reserved for coaching. And we want to create that opportunity for them to increase their sales so that they can actually survive, they can create solutions to problems that are out there, and we can fulfill our mission of helping more entrepreneurs and artists do meaningful work. So that's your 4th way or 5th way that you can contribute to our work, and it's just as meaningful as getting your hands dirty in any of the other ones. So I'm just really thankful to you for your time and attention. Feel free to spread the word, share this video and the email with your friends if you feel like they would be great people. So I'm just so thankful for this very first monthly update video. I'm looking forward to sharing with you our progress and our challenges throughout this year. I would love to hear about your plans for 2019 and some of your challenges, and love to see how I can be helpful to you. So please make sure to email me, reply to this video. We just really love to hear your thoughts and feedback on this monthly update video. Thank you so much, and I look forward to sharing more of what we're doing throughout the year.